You're listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony.
This is Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We're broadcasting from the Natural Green Lawn and Landscape Studios. We're brought to you by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. As an American Family Insurance agent, Kim believes that there's much more to insurance than the policy alone. It's about providing you with dependable protection and services. Kim believes that trust and credibility can't be demanded. It can only be earned by what you say and what you do. Call Kim at 651-482-1598 and tell her you heard it here on Where You Live. It's time now for a message from the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association. This MHA Minute is brought to you by Start to Finish Maintenance Contractors. Start to Finish provides 24-hour service for all of your home and business maintenance needs. Call Start to Finish at 952-259-1219 for your home, for your business, for your peace of mind.
Did you know that the members of the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association, or MHA, provide over a quarter of the state's housing? That's housing for more than 1 million residents. The members of MHA agree to abide by a professional code of ethics, and they know that happy residents are key to a successful business. When you're out looking for your next apartment, remember that rental references are a two-way street. Before you rent, ask if the owner is a member of MHA. If not, ask why not. And tell them to visit mmha.com. That's two M's, mmha.com. If you're an owner or manager or even an accidental landlord, you owe it to yourself to learn how the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association, its classes, certification programs, resources, staff, and faculty can help you succeed. Don't be a good landlord. Be a great one. Visit mmha.com, mmha.com.
What's our last story about, Gene?
Well, we're going to be taking a look at something that's being suggested at the Maryland State Legislature right now, Senate Bill 1062, concerning condominiums, homeowner associations, concerning attorney's fees. I think people know, if you live in an association, that if a person is delinquent in their dues, if they have had violations against the association and there have been fines, the association can set those fines and charge that to the homeowner. If the person doesn't pay and doesn't communicate with the association, which I think is what we're talking about most of the time, then they can seek other means to try and collect that. And that could mean a collection agency, could mean turning to an attorney. Now, there are some people who say that, these fees get to be huge, and they get to be just out of hand.
You're talking about the legal fees?
Yeah.
The legal part of this?
Or the collection fees, yes.
Gotcha.
And they get to be so large, and I will admit that there are some cases, I'm going to say it's very, very few.
And it's usually a case like that, though, some egregious misuse of the process that prompts this kind of legislation. I think they quote the cause of this legislation was a case where $250 was owed, but the association racked up $70,000 in attorney's fees.
Yes,
to try and
that's
collect
ridiculous.
it.
I know. I'll bet you my last bottom dollar that was a self-managed homeowners association.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say
Yeah.
that, because professionals aren't going to allow you or encourage you to spend good money after bad.
A self-managed association with a shyster lawyer, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
I mean, that's not a nice term, but what attorney in their right mind lets their client go to that kind of extent?
That's an excellent point, Tony. Where is the fiduciary responsibility that an attorney should have to their client?
Yeah.
We feel that sense of fiduciary responsibility as a property managing agent for our clients.
Yep, that's right.
And so we can't just get a bid. We need to get at least 3 bids. Why? Because we want to make sure that we're getting competitive bids.
That's right.
We are going through a process of accountability and so much more. But here you have a number of attorneys out there who think of nothing more than the billable hour.
Yeah.
And that is a shame.
Yeah.
Because they give other attorneys a bad reputation.
And they cause problems for the rest of us, like more legislation,
And
more rules, more regulation of our industry.
And the thing here is that here's another piece of legislation. I understand what their intention is, but their intention and what they've done is not going to take care of it. But legislators will be able to say, we took care of it.
We did
Here
something
it is.
about it.
Yes.
We did something about it. It may not be perfect.
And here's the issue that I have with this. It says that in the bill summary that came from the Maryland General Assembly, they put together sort of a analysis and summary piece on every piece that's written. They said the bill authorizes the court on its own motion or the unit owner or lot owner to challenge this rebuttal presumption that they may have paid too much in trying to collect the attempt, this past due amount. My first inclination here is when I read this is the bill authorizes the court. Doesn't the court already have that authority? I mean, if you have a situation where you and I are in a contract together and we have an agreement, and if one of us doesn't think that the other person is following through that,
Sure.
it is not a criminal matter, it is a civil matter. So you go to civil court. And that is what civil court is for.
The judge looks at the situation, weighs the arguments, and decides what's reasonable and what isn't.
I don't need another person at the legislature saying, well, now we're going to authorize the court.
This specific situation,
Yeah.
we're going to have to draft a new piece of legislation to address this instance.
So to me, it is beyond redundancy here already. But then here's the part that I have a hard time with. It says that if a challenge is made by a homeowner, it says the governing body, this would be the association, bears the burden of proving by a preponderance of the evidence that the attorney's fees are reasonable. And so here you have someone who says, I'm going to make an accusation, and usually the preponderance of evidence is, okay, you made an accusation. The court would usually turn and say to the plaintiff, show us your evidence.
That's right.
But here, just because the plaintiff now makes an accusation, the preponderance of evidence is now on the defendant to say, prove that you haven't. That's
prove
huge.
that these fees are reasonable.
To me, that's huge.
It's turned it all on its ear, hasn't it?
Yes. And again, the big issue here is where is the responsibility of the board of directors in that association? You don't spend $3,000-$4,000 to collect $150.
Well, okay.
You know,
the board of directors didn't come up with the attorney's fees. The attorney came up with the attorney's fees, and yet it's left up to the board to defend the attorney's fees in this situation. How crazy is that?
Yes.
Perhaps the attorney. Well, okay, the association is going to have to be careful about what they're willing to pay.
But where's the backbone of the association board members that said, hey, you know what?
This is ridiculous,
we're not
unreasonable.
They're just saying, whatever you charge, I guess that's what we'll pay you.
Yeah.
And $70,000, come on, that is irresponsible.
Here's another piece, though, Gene, and we talked a little bit about this in prep. The HOA has to follow a collection process. They're required to. Their responsibility to their members. They have to try and collect unpaid assessments. So in order to do that, they have to hire attorneys, they have to hire collection agencies, and they get charged fees for that. The HOA really doesn't have final control over how much the legal fees are. They have to keep pursuing. Yeah. The one person who does have more control is the owner that's in debt. If they would address the issue right away
and not be silent,
make a payment plan and adhere to it, they wouldn't be piling up these attorney's fees.
Good point. Well, that's all the time we have. Folks, thanks for taking part of your day to be with us. We hope you have a great rest of the weekend. We look forward to seeing you here next Saturday on Where You Live.
I have been chosen. Farewell, my friend. I go on to a better place.